Before we begin the session, I'm just going to share about what I went through and what I went through today and my growth of understanding, basically shifting from 3D to 5D through my own personal experiences and what that means for me. I was listening to Eckhart maybe 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about, it was really funny. I know some people might, have said, oh, it's kind of dry listening to him, but, if you really align and hear what he's sharing and saying, he's quite the delightful man to listen to. And he talked about being in the space of your soul being, living in the present moment, and through our own evolution and growth of understanding, even for myself, and I can only speak for myself, being a spiritual being, being a soul body, but then we go through experiences or something happens, and then we're in our experience, and we're like angry, frustrated, stressed out, and really embraced into that experience. And it's okay to be at the same time. There's no shame or guilt in it, but it's bringing awareness through my story of understanding today. So I heard him sharing about that. And it was a day or two later, so I had the awareness of that, of what he said, because first we need the awareness to something, and then the light of God will put us through experiences after. At least that's how I see it in my own life. So I was getting groceries. I just got paid. I'm getting groceries, and then all of a sudden, my phone, or I went to go pay, and it wouldn't allow me to pay, tapping my phone. And I was like, why is it not working? I know I have money in here. I have to catch an Uber to go all the way to one side of the city just to get groceries, and I get paid the one day that we get paid through the government for low income. And I was stressing out because it's not working, and I'm trying to tap, and I tapped it once or twice, and it's not coming up. So then I need to look at my phone here because I use free Wi-Fi from the store. And I go to get a car Uber, but now my Uber payment's not coming through to be able to get a ride home. So now I'm lost in my experience at this point, right? Stressing out. I really shifted to the 3D, to the experience of it, being lost in it. And as time unfolds itself, we see how things will work out. They just work out. We don't have to be stuck in those situations at that time. So anyways, I ended up calling through the app on my phone, called my bank. They switched up the removing the security feature because for some reason fraud came up on my phone to not be able to use it. So then I was able to go through, collect all the groceries again, be able to get a ride home, and it just all worked out. But for that 10-15 minutes, I was totally in my experience of frustration and anger, really deep in it. And then after, when I'm sitting there and it's all working out, as I'm sitting waiting, as I'm talking to the people on the phone at the store, at the bank, I then, because I can see my team that works with me in light, they were observing the whole time and watching me go through this whole time. And it kind of shifted back to my soul self. And I was like, this was a test for me, wasn't it? And they all shifted yes. And I was like, okay, having the awareness to it, having the awareness to what Eckhart said about the shifting, back and forth and not staying in alignment with your soul being. It's just a part of the process of ascension that we go through from 3D to 5D. But it's having these understandings. So then anyways, I dealt with that, and I was like, okay, I didn't need to get so angry and frustrated. I didn't need to go there. Okay, it's fine. I'm learning and growing through that experience. That's what we come here to do, is to learn and grow. So it's giving grace to myself. Did the best I could at that time. So then yesterday, go to get groceries again, and I go to tap, and I get a notification on my phone that my card's been blocked. And at first I was frustrated for a moment, and then I was like, no, because I had the awareness to my last experience that it's going to work out. I don't need to enter into that space. I called the bank, and they adjusted it right there and then, and everything was good to go. So that was yesterday. So today, I'm still being tested. And I asked my team, I'm being tested, and I pass it? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, right on. And then today, bringing me into today of just bringing more alignments. And again, this is if you can, it's to help, one, through understanding my own personal experiences shifting from 3D to 5D, as there's still layers that I'm going through myself of understanding. And two, is to help to bring awareness to tools that we can use for ourselves as we are going through this ascension process from 3D to 5D, for all those who are aligning on a spiritual path within themselves and healing themselves, right? So today, I woke up again and I looked at my bank account, and there's double payments being taken out of my accounts. My gym, I'm in the negative. I don't have, my gym payment today, it wasn't able to come out, and I'm in this space again. But I had a different approach today. And in this approach, feeling emotional here from what I went through today and being so grateful, is I laid back and I was like, in the moment, I'm like, God, how much longer do I have to keep going through this? How much longer do I have to keep going through this lack of that I've had to experience? And here are the things that came up for me. And they're things I already know. I just have grown to a space today. I don't live in the thinking mind, creating stories in that place and repeating things over and over and trying to make sense of things. I don't live in that space anymore. It's very easy for me to shift out of through the awareness and understandings of it. The first thing I did was I became grateful for what I have in my life. This is what makes me feel emotional. Is my 11-year-old Bengal cat and my 8-year-old Chihuahua, two females, 11 and 8, and they've been with me through the unfolding of the last 3.5 years, where I didn't have a place to go in all these different times, but they're still with me. And I am so grateful that it's what I have in my life. And at least having them in my life is the greatest thing for me, and how grateful I am for that. So I align to how being grateful for what I have in my life shifted me away even more from any form of anger and things I was going through this morning, seeing these monies taken out and they're not even supposed to be. So that was the first alignment for me, is coming back to a space of being grateful, knowing that this is going to work out with the unfolding of money in this moment today. It's going to play itself out and work out. Everything always works out. It's not being stuck in the story. And as I did what was in my control, which was to make the phone calls that I needed to, I had to call the one place and get them to look at their orders so that they can readjust, right, and put money back in my account. I did with what was in my control, but I wasn't in a space of being lost in the 3D experience for what it was. I am in alignment of faith and trust. And when I asked God today, the light of God, and I was like, how much longer, do I have to be in this? I came to a space of knowing of things I already know. There's timelines of experiences we go through to learn, grow, and evolve through the experiences we are going through. These experiences are not happening to us in a place where we can view it as negativity. They're happening for us, to help us to learn and grow and evolve even more to our true self of who we truly are within, in the pureness of our light, eternal being. And once we learn and grow through the experience, which is for me, is having the understandings of what those who go through experiences of poverty and a low poverty. I didn't have these understandings before. Now I have more compassion and understandings and empathy for those who struggle here than what I did before. I may have had ignorance before of who I was, before not understanding what people truly go through, living in a lower plane of poverty, of what that means for them. I didn't have these understandings before. Now moving forward, as I continue to keep growing through my experiences, I now have compassion and empathy for those who are struggling in the financial way, but anyway, even physical or emotional or mental health. You know, I've lived those experiences. I have great compassion and empathy because I lived through it and I did the work to learn and grow and then to evolve from those spaces. So I have these alignments of understandings. It's not forever. Whatever you're going through today, it's not forever. It's not forever for me, but it is a time, a space for us to learn, grow, and evolve. It's happening for us, for our soul's evolution. Okay? So everything always works out, whatever you're going through. Okay? The biggest thing in my life, or the greatest foundation I have, is faith and trust. There's nothing that can break my faith and trust with the light. And I've grown in that space, watching how things unfold rather than being stuck in the story. And it's okay if we are, but it's swiftly getting ourselves out of that space. We don't have to stay stuck in it. Okay? So that is just my experiences today that I'm going through. Is meant for me to share today, as before connecting, as I connect with each of you today. It's just to have these understandings for yourself as we're shifting from 3D to 5D for those who are in a space ready for their ascension. All right? So thank you for hearing me today. And if it brought alignments and awareness, okay, that's the key thing, is bringing awareness to your own life so you can have more power of your own empowerment over these experiences here, right? And it's just doing with what is in your control. You couldn't control the things happening to me today and the other day, but it was with what was in my control that I was able to keep the power of the truth of who I am, to not lose myself in the 3D experience for what it is. So thank you for hearing me there, and let's begin.